Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility, where we talk about some of the cool new releases that are out that you guys should be keeping an eye out for and keeping your ears open for. Today, we got a cool little jazz one, okay, on the Tonecenter label. All right, pretty notable label that features a lot of great musicians and especially great guitar players. This one is from stevekhan. Okay, very notable player from the jazz fusion scene for the last, 50 years or so. The album is called Patchwork. Okay, brand new release, 9 new tracks. Okay, and he's got a really good list of players on here. So he's got, along with Steve on guitar, you've got Ruben Rodriguez on baby bass and electric bass. Not really sure what baby bass is. You've got the always MVP drumming of Dennis Chambers. All right. You've got Mark Quinones, all right, on timbal, bongo, and percussion. Mark has played with basically everybody out there. A fantastic player. Bobby Allende on conga. Rob Mounsey on keyboards and orchestrations and orchestral arrangements. You've got Randy Brecker, who guests on flugelhorn on one track. You've got Bob Mincer on tenor sax on a track. And you've got Tatiana Para, vocals on one song, and Jorge Estrada, keyboards on one track as well. So a really notable cast of characters here. And like I said, you got 9 cuts. Kind of smooth jazz meets traditional jazz, meets a little bit of fusion. A lot of Latin grooves on here, okay? A lot of Latin grooves, a little bit of funk. That's kind of, stevekhan has been kind of doing that kind of Latin-y fusion, funky jazz now thing, or smooth jazz to some people, for many, many years. And Steve's played with everybody, right, over the years. But here as leader, and he's got a lot of really good solo albums to his credit as well. He's been doing the thing with Tonecenter for a while now. So it kicks off with Epistrophe, okay, however you say that. That is an old Thelonious Monk tune, okay, so these are all new recordings from Steve, but we do have, obviously, a bunch of covers here, classic covers. C and D, okay, from Ornette Coleman. All right. Bouquet. All right. An old Bobby Hutcherson track. You got Non-Issue. That's a stevekhan original. All right. A Shade of Jade. Okay. From Joe Henderson. Too Late Now. Okay. From Alan J. Lerner and Burton Lane. Okay. And TNT. Another Ornette Coleman song. The Journey Home from Keith Jarrett. Okay. And Hurricane Clark. Or Hurricane Clark. Hurricane Claire from Jorge Estrada. Okay, so some original tracks, mostly covers, okay, but done in that kind of stevekhan Latino vibe, so to speak. So, and again, some of these tunes, they also give like the kind of Spanish translation, right? So Steve's kind of doing his thing and adding his elements into some of these classic tunes. And, some of these tunes are pretty swinging. You're not going to get a lot of searing, ripping guitar on this, right? This is kind of more gentler stuff. It's more about the groove and the feel, okay, which I dig quite a bit. It's got really good production, produced by Steve, and a fun album. If you like kind of really tasty melodic guitar work and rich arrangements, okay, with those great Latin grooves, all right, little bits of funk. Nothing bad you could say about this album. I've listened to this numerous times. It's a really pleasing listen on the ear, which is always kind of nice. And again, if you're expecting like old school traditional jazz and bebop, you're not going to get that here. This is more kind of like funky fusion, funky Latin fusion type of thing. Some pop melodies, right? Some great songs by some old masters in the jazz genre, but done kind of stevekhan way, right? Done with a stevekhan stamp all over them. So check it out. I think you'll dig it. All right. Stevekhan's Patchwork, Tonecenter Records. Look for a full review of this on our website at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube just about every day. We got more stuff coming up over the next few days, so don't touch that dial. Stay tuned, and we'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.